What's up, nation? Welcome to another edition of the Wise Take MLB DFS podcast. I'm your host, CK013. You can find me on Twitter at CK_013, and I am joined once again by the triple OG of the Wise Take Nation, Mr. Patio Joe. You can find him on Twitter at Patio Joe Ref. Joey, my man, what's happening, bro?
Not much, man. Just chilling on a Tuesday night. It's actually Wednesday for you. Just turned into Wednesday for you guys in the East Coast. But it is a Tuesday night for me. Just chilling. The babies are asleep. And I am kind of trying to hold on to this one of my team's cash in here. Yeah. But it's slowly fading away as these games kind of end. And the Pirates all of a sudden, become chalk because it's 6-3 now, and they're scoring runs after 9 innings of not doing anything, and they tie it in the 9th. So thank you. We do the right play and we faded, and then in the 9th inning, all the lazy people are getting rewarded.
Yeah.
But I guess that's DFS for you.
Yeah, we were really big on the Y stream on Franmo the GOAT, especially Paulie. Paulie wouldn't stop the entire show. He just kept saying Franmo GOAT. He just kept doing his thing, and so I thought I was gonna have a really, really good night when he started off with homer, then a double, then another homer, Hosmer had a homer. I thought I was gonna be rolling, and then should do okay at least on FanDuel, but yeah, it's just disappointing overall with the way that everything kind of fell apart. Just didn't have the right stuff together. You have Garrett Cole, but not with, the right stack. You have, Marquez with the good bats. So one of those nights, you know what I mean? One of those nights. But for a big, massive slate, it was pretty low scoring, right?
Oh yes, man. Everybody kind of busted a little bit. Didn't really go off, or at least the chalk didn't go off last night.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a 2-game slate. I'm sorry, we have 2 slates on Wednesday. We won't cover the early one on this show. We will cover the main slate. For those subscribed to ystate.com, I will be writing an article for the early slate, kind of going over my favorite options. But on this podcast, we're just going to talk about the main slate, and the Y stream tomorrow will be for the main slate. Joey, we got 9 games on the main. We have some pretty good pitching options, I'd say. Cash games, who's the guy you're looking at?
Wow, boy, it's kind of tough. I mean, you got Scherzer up top against righty heavy lineup against St. Louis. And then you got Jake DeGrom, where I think that the optimizers love him just because of what he's done in the past. He's facing the Reds, strike out a lot and stuff like that. But the last start was not very good, and it leaves us to be, to pause a little bit, I think. Do we really want to go with him in cash tomorrow against, the Reds? I don't know yet. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to go with DeGrom, because, he really hasn't looked himself since his second start of the season. And that was a month ago now. So I think that's good enough to fade, or at least put him into the GPP category and just go with maybe Scherzer if you're going to spend 10-9 on FanDuel. Now, you can go down a little bit and go to Kluber, who has these same Marlins. Everybody was on the Marlins or was on Bauer tonight, gave up 3 runs early. But now, he came back. He struck out 10, like you say. Kluber gets these same Marlins. I don't mind it. He probably is on a short list for cash game consideration tomorrow. One of probably the highest the favorites on the board. He's just facing Caleb Smith, so it's a very low run total. And then Hyun-Jin Ryu is another option you look at against these Giants who just can't hit, and he's going to give you a good floor, but he's 10K, and Hyun-Jin Ryu at 10K. That's kind of weird. And then, Nola, you have to also have to look at Nola too, just because I think Detroit has trouble hitting 2 these days.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think that of these pitchers, I believe that Scherzer is the best actual one. So because, at least on DraftKings, he's not too far out of reach. He's close. He's just about 11K. He's 10.9 on DraftKings. But he's still technically under 11K. So I think if you can reach Scherzer, he would be the guy that I'd be the most comfortable with. But if you can't get to him, or if things change, if we just see lineups we don't like, whatever the case may be, or we see another lineup that just looks real good, I do think that there are some, different ways you can go. Like you said, normally the cash game pitcher is pretty direct. Whereas on a slate like this, it's not such an easy conversation. Like you mentioned, DeGrom against the Reds, who are projected for 2.9 runs. The Marlins are projected for 3 runs. The Tigers projected for 3.2, all of which are actually lower as of now than the Cardinals are projected for at 3.5. So, it's gonna be fun to decide that tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Wednesday. I think Stevie's on it. We'll see. We'll see what Stevie ends up on. But SP2 options, like, do you see somebody in the cheap that you think maybe guys can get away with pairing in cash, or do you think that this is a situation where you may want to do another double spend up?
Well, I spoke a little bit earlier before we started on Marcus Stroman. I think he on DK. I think he's a better play just because you don't need the strikeouts as much. So it just depends on how you want to fit him in. I know he's not as expensive as he used to be, or he's a little bit more expensive. I'm sorry than he usually should be. So I'm not. There's not like a clear cut guy that you want to pay down at. That's the problem. So.
I feel like
you could go all the way down to Quantrill.
Quantrill? I don't think Quantrill's pitching though. I think it's going to be Strom.
Okay, because I just went on the Padres website and they have Quantrill.
They have Quantrill also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so both sites have Quantrill, and the only thing that doesn't is Lab. So I think if he's a pitcher, he's 5,500. You pair him with DeGrom.
Yeah, I don't know if I would want to do that against the Braves. I don't know if the Braves are the kind of team in cash. Like, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, I think that a trendy option is going to be like Max Fried could be kind of trendy. The Padres are 3.5 projected run total, so I could see them being a popular salary saving option. Big favorite against the Padres. I think McHugh could actually gain some steam, especially after what Cole just did to these Twins. McHugh's been fairly consistent with the exception of 1 or 2 starts, but he's only 8,300 on DraftKings. He's also a big favorite. Twins only projected for 4.2 runs. I wouldn't be surprised if people, were to go there, or even Madison Bumgarner at 8.4. The Dodgers did just pummel Pomerantz in the Giant bullpen, but Bumgarner, higher caliber pitcher, I think most people would agree. So I think those guys can be kind of trendy. And as far as like cheap options, it wouldn't surprise me if some people went to Pena. Maybe more in tournaments though. But we'll talk about that. Discussing the tournament breakdown, Joey, is there any different opinion on the guys up top? Like a guy that you would prefer strongly in tournaments as of now?
No, I mean, I think Caleb Smith, you also have to look at as an SP2 option. He's 8,600, and he kind of fits in right there with, Bumgarner, too, and Fried right around that same price. So I like his matchups. Now, these Indians are getting a little hotter. Lindor's back and stuff like that. So you have to look at it. But Smith has been pretty good at home, and he's in a good ballpark. So yeah, I'd take a look at him. I don't know. Like, also maybe break into Mikolas a little bit, or Discofani. The Mets haven't been doing much either. They're both 7,900. They could be some decent SP2 options too. Those are just, and Mikolas is facing Washington without Rendon, so it's not. Those are 2 plays that are very. I think tomorrow, if you look into them, they could emerge as an SP2 option also. But up top, I'm good with Scherzer, DeGrom, Nola, and Kluber.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Any one of those guys like in the front runner right now? Like, I know you got to dig through some stuff, but do you have a preference of any of these dudes up top for tournaments?
For tournaments, I mean, I think DeGrom would be the most GPP-esque because he has the highest ceiling. I don't think people will go there because they'll just pay for Scherzer.
Mm-hmm.
So DeGrom goes out there and proves that he's one of the top 4 or 5 pitchers in the game.
Mm-hmm.
He should get as much as Scherzer tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think DeGrom coming off the start that he just had, people may be hesitant to go there. And DeGrom's a pitcher that has always pitched better at home throughout his career. He's at home. And, I mean, the Reds were almost blanked by Jason Vargas today. So, it's like lefty-righty, maybe different situations, say what you will.
Yeah, Jesus.
But, yeah, I do agree with you there. Any interest in Chase Anderson for tournaments? He's at home. It's not a good ballpark. It's better than Coors, but it's not a good ballpark. And he goes up against the Rockies. They have a lot of lefties, but they do strike out. Any interest in Chase Anderson? I think the last time we saw Chase, I think the last time I played Chase Anderson was the day that he spiked his head on home plate. I think that was him, right? I'm pretty sure that was him.
Yeah, I don't have much interest in Chase Anderson. I think if the roof's going to be closed again, I think that one of these games is going to go off. I know it. It's got to go off eventually. So, I would rather attack him than pitch him tomorrow. Personally,
that's interesting. That's interesting. Well, let me ask you a question. You're a Dodger fan. Do you have any interest in Madison Bumgarner or the Dodgers, at least in tournaments, or is the Dodgers just too hot right now?
Well, they're going off tonight.
Yeah, they are going off tonight. Yeah,
they're going off tonight. No, I wouldn't go there. I don't think I would get there with Bumgarner. I just don't see the strikeout upside.
Yeah.
Kike is a notorious Bumgarner master, so he's going to be popular tomorrow.
Mm.
They're going to throw out their righty heavy lineup. Justin Turner just hit his first home run. David Freese hit a home run.
Turner hit a home run? No shit.
Yeah, Justin Turner his first home run today. So
wow.
If he heats up, the Dodgers are going to be really, really tough to beat.
Yeah.
The guy that I know that for even to be talking about this guy proves to me how good he's pitching, because normally we would want to absolutely 100% stack against this guy, but he has been decent, and I'm talking about Martin Perez.
Oh, God.
The last 3 starts, he's been serviceable. He's 5,900 on DraftKings. Look at his numbers. They're not terrible. Now, they're Baltimore twice and Toronto. Facing, Houston's the totally better offense there. But I don't know. I feel like people are going to go to him tomorrow. Not go to him to try and attack him. And I think it could be a total troll job, and the Astros are going to bust out just because of he's hitting 96 on the gun right now. Just to let you know that, it's not like a fluke. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the furthest I'd go there is just fade the Astros. Don't get me wrong, I agree with you that Perez has looked improved, but I just don't know with all the good pitching we have. I feel like I'd rather find a way to make some better SPs work. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. I totally think that there's some troll potential. I mean, you got Colin McHugh and Martin Perez, and Houston's only a 130 favorite. So it kind of puts into perspective a little bit. Maybe these guys, So he's been good. I just don't know. It's more about the opponent. It's do I want to go take a pitcher against the Astros? Because even if they suck, it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to strike out. And at the end of the day, strikeouts is the upside. And if there's a slate where we didn't have a lot of good pitching, it's sure, if I just do this and I hope for a 15, that's great. But on a slate like this, where so many guys have the potential to go for 25 to 30 on DraftKings, it's just kind of hard to sacrifice. You feel like you want those dudes. Mm-hmm. Especially the way pitching has been. It's been so it's like landmines. Pitching these days is like landmines, dude. It's
oh yeah.
You never know. It's just you're just waiting for one of these dudes to just get bombed. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Wild.
Speaking of bomb, Joey Gallo just went hit a bomb and put me back up into comfortable cashing range after the Pirates cut me on the line. Now Gallo hit me a home run.
There you go, Joey. There you go. I had a Gallo lineup. That it might have bumped out. I had 2 teams cashing and one might have fell, but one probably got a solid boost. Anyway, let me ask you about another guy for tournaments for potential SP2. A little worried about the ceiling on this guy because they seem to have him on some sort of pitch count. But Felix Pena is only 7K on DraftKings. He's going up against Toronto, strikeout heavy team. Pena is known for throwing, I believe he's a slider guy. I don't necessarily believe in the narrative that Toronto is like still awful against the slider because they have such a different team. Like they have like so many different players. But in general, they're not necessarily a great offense right now. Any interest in Felix Pena? Like I said, I'm just concerned about the ceiling. But he did have a pretty good game against what was it, the Yankees? Put up like a 22 against the Yankees, and he only pitched through like 85 pitches, 75 pitches, something like that. So, what do you think? GPPs.
I don't mind him because he doesn't seem to get beat up when he gets hit. Like he doesn't seem to get bombed. So taking a flyer on him against an offense that's not, that's not crazy. That's not, very, very. It's not a very good offense at all. It's kind of struggling a little bit. I mean, look at this. I mean, 3 weeks. Baseman price.
You got some in and out action happening right now. You got some in and out action coming in and out. But while we wait for Joey to get back, hopefully he does. I do think that Pena in tournaments, as of right now, I mean, like I said, my main problem with Pena. Oh, there you are. You're back. Yeah, we got the poor connection thing, so we missed what you we were going there.
He just never gets beat up. That's my thing.
Yeah.
He doesn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like it feels kind of safe considering that he's only 7K, but at the same time, I'm still in the dilemma of like, am I gonna be able to sacrifice, the ceilings of these other pitchers, and that I don't know yet. I guess that'll depend on the bats we have, right, Joey?
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, for sure. It's definitely going to depend on what we got going with the bats, and I think that tomorrow, I don't know what's going to be like the chalk. That's the thing. Like,
yeah,
it's going to be tough. Like the highest implied run total, I think it might be the Braves if this Quantrill guy is going to be pitching. He will probably garner the most, or maybe the Phillies.
Yeah, man. I think that the Phillies can definitely gain traction against Daniel Norris. I think that we could see the Brewers gain some traction now that Jesus Aguilar has homered twice. He might not even play tomorrow against the righty, but I think you're right. And then the Astros. I think people will play the Astros against Martin Perez. People still try to attack him as much as they can, even though he's been like a huge troll for a while. And so, I would say Houston, especially after what Houston did tonight, right? Like they went out there, put up like 11 runs when nobody was on them, right? Like I think Houston and Atlanta be pretty popular if it is Quantrill. If it's Strom, maybe not, but if it's Quantrill, I believe so. Any offense that kind of stands out to you, just kind of looking through it, like I think the Nationals are kind of interesting just because Mikolas, man. Like, right? Like, he's been pretty sure he's been getting hit a little bit this year. Like, last year he was getting by, just not giving up contact. He's never been a strikeout guy. We know that about him. But, they gave up 3 home runs against the Reds, 3 home runs against the Brewers. So he's had a couple of these games where he just hasn't had it, and he's gave up a bunch of home runs. And the Nationals, even though they're kind of banged up, they've been fighting, man, hitting home runs. Like, I think even today they lost. It was a low-scoring game, but 2 out of their 3 runs or whatever it was were home runs. Or 2, maybe only 2 runs. Either way, I think they could be kind of sneaky in tournaments.
Well, yeah, I mean, these last two games, they should have. This game, I stacked the Cards and the Nats both 2 days, and they really haven't, lived up to expectations.
Yeah,
so
haven't done the
we're
dirty.
hoping for it to go off. Yeah, I mean,
just kind of waiting every day.
I think these Brewers are interesting too against Senzatella. You got to look at them, and that's about it. I think that it's going to be really concentrated on the teams that you're going to stack tomorrow, and maybe you're going to have to get off of somebody and attack a pitcher. I think maybe you could take a flyer on these Indians too against Caleb Smith. They've been hot. You know what I'm saying? They're coming together. Lindor's been hot. They put up 8 runs today. It's not Caleb Smith can get hit, even though we said maybe you could pitch him. I think you could look at this as another offense that you could stack against, and maybe they won't be that high owned tomorrow. What about the Indians?
I'll be curious to see what the ownership is on the I'm sorry, ownership, what the lineup will look like for Cleveland tomorrow, because their projected lineup has 3 lefties in it, and obviously the pitcher, which is a big blow to Cleveland's offense. But you got Lindor, J-Ram are really the 2 main dudes you're trying to dodge. Like, Santana's a tough guy to strike out, but he's not exactly a guy I'm terrified of. Granted, he did hit a home run today, I know. I'm just not like a big Santana guy. I think he's a cool guy to have in your locker room because of the Fortnite thing, but I'm not. And then Luplo is a guy that's just kind of unproven. He was part of that Pirates problem against lefties when they kept striking out. He was a big part of that. So, like, I don't know. Like, I think it was impressive the Indians woke up. I'm expecting them to kind of go on a run, but they've always kind of been a team that plays better at home. Granted, they did go up against Alcantara. Alcantara, however, is not a big strikeout guy. So it's going to be a different kind of pitcher. It's going to be a lefty. If they throw all of these lefties out there, it's just going to be like Caleb Smith a little bit more, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? See him.
Them.
Yeah.
What about the Twins?
Against McHugh, I don't mind that, dude. The Twins have been really scrappy. Like the stadium's not great. Like, the weather over there's been kind of chilly, but I don't. They're scrappy, man. Like, Max Kepler, that dude he's tough, man. Like not saying he's the best hitter in the world, but he's tough. That dude will fight. Eddie Rosario, we know, was hot for a little while. You got Nelson Cruz, and McHugh's been a little, rocky lately. I don't think
he's had one really bad start against Texas, and everything else has been decent,
everything else has been good. Yeah. It's a maybe. I mean, like, do we have to get that contrarian? Maybe. Depends on how we pitch, but I do kind of look at McHugh like he could be useful tomorrow on DraftKings. Like, I'm kind of looking at him like he could be useful at 8,300. But at the same time, like, I think that there's some merit in looking at the Twins. The offense that I want to ask you about, man, I want to ask you about our Padres, man. The Padres is a big nation
against
team.
Fried?
Against Max Fried. Max Fried, I think, is a decent pitcher. Don't get me wrong. But we have the Padres with a considerable park boost from San Diego. It's going to be one of the better hitting environments on the slate, just because Atlanta is one of the warmer places. It's projected to be like 80 degrees, 50% humidity. And you've got, like, finally, this whole right-handed heavy thing that they got going on should work for them. They have a lefty. So you're going to get Margot, who all of a sudden becomes a decent hitter. You got Franmil the GOAT. I would be surprised if they didn't find a way to put Hunter Renfroe in here. Manny Machado has been cold, but we have a lefty that's right in his face, like Will Myers. Like, you look at this lineup, man, you put a lefty in front of them in a situation where they're getting a park boost. And I think it could be a leverage thing, because I do expect Max Fried to be a trendy tournament SP2. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's what I expect. What do you think?
Well, they're cheap. So tomorrow they're going to be – they might be the Pirates of today, just because you might just lock in Scherzer and you have a nice little 3-man stack right there with Margot, Reyes, and Machado. And it's not very expensive at all. That's why I think they'll be more popular, is because of their price more than anything. And it's a decent matchup against a guy that we know that they could score runs on. So, yeah, I think the Padres will be actually more popular than maybe we think, just because they're so cheap and people are going to want to get in Scherzer or DeGrom or stuff like that.
On FanDuel, I think you can make a case for that. On DraftKings, I really don't think people are going to the Padres, because I think they're going to go to Max Fried. I think Max Fried is going to be a trendy SP2. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So he's a big favorite. The Padres are projected for 3.8 runs. I just don't see the Padres, at least on DraftKings, being that popular, because I think people would lean towards Max Fried. On FanDuel, I can sort of understand it, because you don't really need Max Fried over there. You only need one pitcher, and then you're going to need some value if you're trying to play those Scherzers and DeGroms, and the Padres are always cheap. So I think that could be an interesting situation tomorrow to see which way people lean. But I do see your point. But I do like the Padres. They did okay for me today. Franmil the GOAT is a GOAT. Just going to put that in the open. All right. Talk to me about the Phillies, and then we'll wrap this thing up. Phillies against Daniel Norris. Phillies have been kind of cold. Everybody's expecting them to be some great offense, and they've just been ass. Doo-doo butter.
You're just going to have to look at the lineup that they throw out there tomorrow. I mean, hopefully maybe Aaron out there will move up in the lineup or something like that, and they'll bat him because not only are they're expensive too. You got McCutcheon 3, Segura's 4, Bryce Harper's 4.7, Hoskins 4.5. I don't know. Like, I think they might be popular, but they're going to be expensive. So that's why maybe, they're going to pair, the Phillies with the Padres tomorrow because they're so cheap. And that's the way you can go. I think tomorrow seems to be more like a lot of mini stack kind of things, like 2s and 3s and not full stacks on some of these games, and get kind of pieces of some certain games, maybe even a better cash game slate than a GBP slate tomorrow.
Yeah, man, I hear you. The only problem with cash is it's going to be hard to pick the SP1, I think. I mean, for me, it'd be Scherzer. In cash, I would just take Scherzer. But I don't think it's that clear. I really don't think it's that clear cut. I think there are some things we have to dig in on. But to me, it's Scherzer because that dude just does what he wants. If he says, I want to throw 120 today, he's throwing 120 today. All right. We're going to do some cash game core stuff. We'll do the top threes. We'll get up out of here. Before that, going to remind everybody, if you haven't already, check us out at whitestake.com. Come join the nation. We are a DFS community and a premium content provider. If you want to test out the content, get yourself a day pass, $2.50. All it costs for a full day of MLB content. You'll get all the articles that we post for the day, our projections for the day. You'll get access to the live stream, which is a show we do 2 hours before lock. The only thing you will not get is the Slack chat access. That is for monthly members or higher. I highly recommend, once you try the content out, see what the nation is, see what the nation does. You save yourself some money, do the right thing, get yourself a monthly pass or higher, and you'll get into the Slack chat and chop it up with the rest of the Wise Take Nation, the core members of the Wise Take Nation who are in that Slack, breaking it down every single day with some of our analysts. With that said, Joey, let's do a cash game core. So what do you think at this point, man? Like, to me,
Scherzer.
yeah, here we go. Bam. Let's just do it. Let's
do Scherzer right now, just because we don't know about DeGrom and how long he's going to go and stuff like that. So let's go with Scherzer.
I like it. Let's pick an SP2 on DraftKings, and then we'll do a value on FanDuel. I mean, we'll do the stud on FanDuel. DraftKings SP2. What are you thinking for now? Like, I think that, like, I think maybe we can get. I like the Padres in tournaments, but in cash games, it wouldn't bother me to take a shot on a guy like Fried if I thought he was trendy. But we could just go McHugh at 8,300. He's not that much more. Like, should we just go with McHugh because we think he's like a better, like, more right pitcher right now? What do you think?
Yeah, let's just do that.
Let's just go with McHugh. I like that. Yeah. I feel better about it because I know I like the Padres, so I feel dirty by even. You know what I mean? I feel filthy. All right, Joey. See, who's the spend up bat we think we want here?
I'm going to say that this guy Quantrill is going to be pitching, so I'm going with Freddie Freeman.
Freddie Freebies. Okay, I can dig it. I could dig Freddie. Oh, me and Paulie came up. You know how like Freddie goes through phases. So for a while he's Freddie homers, for a while he's Freddie doubles. I told Paulie today that we've officially established at the Wise Take Nation a permanent nickname for Freddie, and that is Freddie Teabags, because either he's teabagging you for playing him, or he's teabagging the pitcher. Either way, you're good. The name sticks. So Freddie Teabags is is going to be because it could substitute for two bags, but it's just Teabags because hands off. What about value? We'll plug him in on both sites. He's 44 on FanDuel. How much is he on DraftKings? He is 5-1. Damn. Value on FanDuel. See anybody that's kind of popping?
Let's do it. Franmil, the GOAT.
Franmil, the GOAT. Joey, you just made my day. You just
he's
2,400. The disrespect. Yeah. And you know who else we can use? Like on FanDuel, second base eligible, Joey, your favorite position to punt. Ty France, the rookie sensation. Yeah. He busted on me today. Did not feel good, but I will go right back at 2K on FanDuel, bro. 2K on FanDuel.
I mean, I would probably do it is I might just go with Margot just because he's 2-4 also.
Yeah.
And that's a mini stack right there. Instead of
go mini stack status.
Yeah, mini stack with Margot and Reyes.
All right.
If he's gonna you know what I mean, like lead off. So
Yeah.
That's what I would probably do that.
For this, I feel as you. FanDuel. FanDuel's going to be that key value piece for this particular core. I like the idea with the rest of it. But we'll go FanDuel and the Goaty Goats. Hopefully he plays because he's just a goat and he's a beast and they disrespect him by not raising his price. So there you have it. FanDuel, Freddie Free, Scherzer on FanDuel, Scherzer McHugh, Freeman Reyes on DraftKings. Joey, top 3 pitchers just in general tomorrow.
Scherzer, DeGrom, and Kluber.
Yeah, it's okay. So I'll go Scherzer, I'll go DeGrom, and tough decision here. I think. Oh man, you know what? I just realized we might end up having. No. They probably wouldn't have it on this slate. No, never mind. For a minute, I got confused and I thought we were gonna have the Kansas City game and Snell was gonna be on here, but he's not on the slate. We're good. All right, so I think in that case I will roll with, I guess, McHugh. I don't know. I'm kind of torn there. I'll say McHugh because I think the price is too good on McHugh. I'm a Twins truther, so it kind of bothers me. But I'll go McHugh. Top 3 stacks, Joey.
Top 3 stacks. Let's go with the Braves. Then let's go with the. I'm going to go with the Braves. I'm going to go with the Nats. And the Phillies.
I like it. I'm going to go Nats and Phils also. And I will go with the Padres, baby, as my third. Dog watch, Joey, who's going deep tomorrow.
FanDuel.
Oh, there you go. Goaty McGoats. I'll go with the kid. What's his name? Ty France. In Pricing.
Right.
You know.
And I'm going to go with Freddie Freeman hitting one out against this rookie.
Man, that's how you know Joey believes in his cash game cores right there, baby. My straight up took the cash game core in his dong watch all day. Forget that diversification. That's taking a stand right there. Son, let's go with Rhys Hoskins, man. It's been a while since that dude's done anything.
All right. And I'm going to end it up with Juan Soto.
I do like that. Oh, yeah, that was a good one. All right.
Yeah.
All right. I see you, Joey. Put me in a situation there, I guess, huh? Let's go with Michael Conforto. When all else fails, just homer out. Michael Conforto. And that's
there you go.
And that is going to
That's what I do. I go Bellinger.
That's it, right? You just go to like who's the stud on my team right now. That's going to do it for the Wise Take DFS podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, please click that thumbs up, that like button, subscribe to the channel. If you're watching on Facebook, give us a like and a share to support the Wise Take Nation. If you're watching on Twitch or Twitter, give us a follow, give us a retweet. And if you're listening to us on Podbean or iTunes, give us some 5-star reviews. Joey, anything in closing before we get out of here?
No, man, it's hump day, so let's win some money.
That's what that is. For Patio Joe, for myself, the entire Wise Take Nation, as always, good luck.
Peace.